Hello, folks, and welcome back to the DFS Down Under show for this week. My name is Schmaffo 10, and welcome back to our show presented by dailyfantasyrankings.com.au, your hub of daily fantasy sports in Australia. As always, I'm joined by my fellow contributor here at DFR, Tristan Heffernan, also known as Big Hef. How are you, Cobar?
Good, thanks, Smatho, or roving Smatho, as we've been calling it the last few days after your efforts at the biggest bash, which was magnificent.
Look, the roving was more of a nervous roving around because I didn't really know many people at the time. But anyway, that's we'll talk about that a bit later.
Yeah, you did a brilliant job, and we're just sort of getting over the whole weekend, aren't we?
Oh well, I went to the gym today and I actually really struggled. And the poor old PT, she gave me a rough look and say, "What happened to you?" I said, "I went to Melbourne on Sunday." So, and then she didn't have to say anything more. So, finally getting over it. So, let's talk about what's going to be on today's show. Obviously, we're going to recap the events on Sunday up in Melbourne for the BBL's Draft Stars Biggest Bash. We're going to have a look at the season itself for BBL and reflect on what could be improved, and obviously our results from the year. We're also going to have a quick chat about AFLW and possibly look into some JLT AFL, which is obviously coming up next Thursday. So, Hef, let's start with the biggest bash. Obviously, the Renegades were literally handed the trophy to them by an insipid Stars middle order who decided to forget to play cricket. Talk about your initial thoughts on the actual game itself before we talk about the big day.
The game itself was unbelievable, wasn't it? For such a boring season, I guess you could say, to get a grand final that turned out as exciting as that was awesome. And obviously we were all at Club 23 for the biggest bash, and the place was just absolutely going insane right at the end there when the Stars were just home for all money. They got into $1.05 or something, trading for huge money, and just managed to blow it completely.
Oh, it was...
So, we're Hurricanes fans. We like seeing the Stars get rolled, don't we?
The Hurricanes would have loved seeing the Stars choking on the big stage. They're pretty much our biggest rivals in the BBL, and to see them just disintegrating before our eyes was actually quite a pleasure to watch. Actually,
it was if you didn't have a Stars stack in the main event, but yeah. Less said about that, the better.
Yeah, well, look, on a personal level, it was really like the first day of college in the venue itself, where a lot of like-minded people were gathered, and there was just a bit of nervous tension before the actual game started. And then obviously once the beverages flowed a few bit, and then a few of the guys kind of just relaxed a little bit, yeah, we started to meet some great DFS community players in the room.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Well, you were introducing me to most of them, Matho, after you were getting right around the room, and I was sort of up the top of the leaderboard for a while, and I started paying attention to the game, and until Hanscom and Maxwell just put that to bed, and then we hit the bar and we started chatting to a few more people. But yeah, it was there's so many people there that sort of hadn't met anyone at all, and just sort of getting around everyone and finding out where everyone was from and what their strategies were and what sort of stuff they've got up to and how they go about things. It was really interesting, and it was one of the best days I can remember. Actually, it was just an absolute ripper, and anyone else I've spoken to has said the same thing. So, well done, Draft Stars, because that was unbelievable.
Yeah, look, kudos has to go to Draft Stars. It was actually an exceptionally well-run event, from the initial greetings by the showgirls, I suppose. Had to keep the eyes straight at the time when you first walked into to having a beverage in your hand, to the actual audio and visual setup, and then the party poker and the party roulette stuff on the side. Yeah, it was a really good setup. So I have to thank the particular gentleman at Draft Stars for A, coming up with the concept, and then B, running a very, very great event for the day.
Yeah, the venue was amazing. Club 23, and like you said, they had some blackjack and roulette set up just to keep people entertained. And Brett Lee had a bit of a chat up the front, and Lawrence Mooney gave a pretty interesting little ditty at halftime there. And there was always something going on. Obviously, there was plenty of food and drink, and Yeah, I haven't heard one person say that they didn't have an awesome time. So
No.
it's got everyone pretty excited, thinking what could come next from Draft Stars.
Well, that's the thing. I'm sure that the moment that the actual final finished was the rumors started swirling around straight away. So when's this going to happen again? What days, what kind of format, what kind of sports can we do this particular day again? Because obviously the appetite's particularly there. And if you weren't actually at the event or didn't catch any of our content, check out our Daily Fantasy Rankings YouTube page. We did lots of interviews and some content during the day. Just to get a little taste of it. If the qualifiers happen again for another final, then yeah, I'm sure that I'd be highly recommended to make sure you get yourself a golden ticket.
Yeah, I woke up the next day and started flicking through the Twitter account and the YouTube account, looking at all the interviews from the day before, and I think they really captured the excitement and the fun everyone was having. So jump on there and have a look. And if that doesn't get you excited for the next live final, I'm sure there'll be another one. We don't really know what's in the plans, apart from we think there are plans going on. Yeah, if that doesn't get you excited for what could be coming up, then I don't know what would.
Now, also, we must congratulate the actual winner of the event, which is Richo, or Triple Z, or Richo's. He actually had a really nice lineup. They actually won the event. He was around the top 10, especially second innings, and obviously when the Carnage captaining, he had actually Cameron Boyce in his lineup. So getting that key wicket on his last ball really put him up the top there. Yeah,
and he just sort of proves it wasn't the big names that were taking out the money. We had a look through his DFR profile, Richo, and his highest ever score was $500. And he's just gone 100 times that. He's got the 50K, he got the big novelty check, and he got the belt, the big wrestling belt. And there was that many people saying, "Oh, I don't care about the money, just give me the belt."
Yeah.
Everyone was all over that. But good on him. Like, you had a chat with him afterwards, didn't you, Matho?
Yeah, very, very similar, I suppose, in terms of my DFS, is that I'm a family guy who loves playing DFS lineups, doesn't care what kind of sport it is, but I'm on the more of the smaller scale in terms of what everyone else plays here in the community. But for him to be shocked and amazed by his achievement, it just shows that anyone who puts a lineup in has the ability to win big.
Exactly. Everyone starts on level footing in DFS, don't they? And good on him.
Although we do have to gamble responsibly as well sometimes, when it comes to DFS as well. All right, so the final's done. Let's have a look back on the actual BBL season. On a personal level, I actually enjoyed the concept of the new lineup structure this year. We only had to choose 4 batters and 3 bowlers. Years gone by, we had to choose a wicketkeeper and then choose an all-rounder. And then sometimes there might be only 1 wicketkeeper to choose or a 7 all-rounders. So having that flexibility in your lineups was a big tick for me this year. What you should do as a DFS player as well is actually look on your results of the year. And DraftStars has the ability to download your results and in an Excel spreadsheet, and obviously look at your return on investment. So I kind of actually did that this afternoon, and I was surprised in my results. I've actually made 2.5% on my return on investment. So it's still a profit.
Better than putting in the bank.
Got money in the bank, but I didn't actually really play many qualifiers this year. So I didn't feel that I would have a chance of actually qualifying. There was actually one particular game that I almost did, but I didn't feel the need in terms of my bankroll to put in 10 lineups per night. How do you go yourself, Hef, this year in the BBL?
I haven't downloaded my stuff yet into the spreadsheet, but I think I went at about 40%, which is way higher than what I was expecting. I went in sort of just hoping to qualify for the final, and ended up, once I was putting my teams in the qualifiers, I thought, I better put them in the mini, I better put them all in the 15, I better put my single entry in. So I ended up turning over quite a bit of money. So to finish in front was great, and snuck a team into the top 40 in the end there in the final. So took home $1,500 for my troubles, and even though I was coming second at the halfway mark, and I'll never be picking Peter Hanscom ever again in DFS in any form of cricket ever again. But overall, great season. Always great just to finish in front because you get the entertainment and the excitement of watching the Big Bash. I couldn't think how bad it would have been watching Big Bash this year if you didn't have some DFS teams to follow along with. And I'm looking forward to next season already. Just on that, they changed the scoring and the lineups. I remember initially thinking, I don't really like it. It just seems very basic. But come the end of the season, I've come around to it. I think it opened up a lot of flexibility, and I think they've done a pretty good job there. So well done, Draft Stars. I'll admit I was wrong.
Oh, you admit he's wrong. I actually had a really good time in the last 6 or 7 overs of the final. Go around the bloke saying, "Okay, who do you got?" And bowls, especially bowls, you can work out if they're going to score points or they're not with their economy rates. So, whereas in seasons past, you get a point for a dot ball and economy rates and things like that. It was actually quite easy to think, okay, this is his last over. He needs to be under 28 runs to get his economy bonus, and he's got 2 wickets. He's going to get 40 odd points. Right? So, I have to say that I think they should keep that format. I want to talk about, obviously, your articles throughout the year. Before I joined the team at DFR, I was a very avid reader of your previews every year. Are you going to miss writing those previews every day?
Short answer, no. I was sort of talking that to a couple of people. That we were talking about the grind of the Big Bash, and I said, I'm not going to miss writing the articles and whatever else. But then we sort of thought, it's probably just, I only ever entered my teams after the toss. So I wanted to wait and see the full teams. I wanted to know who was batting, who was bowling. And then half an hour, you bang, 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 bang. If you're on your phone or you try to get the kids to bed or it's you're out for tea or, it was just always just chaos. You obviously had in your mind what type of players you wanted to play, and some people would put their lineups in prior and then make any changes that they had to. But that was my process, and by the end I was pretty happy to see the end of the season. But of course, the grand final gets you back up and about. I'm like, wouldn't mind a bit more Big Bash. Actually, we've still got 4 weeks to AFL, and what are we going to do?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was a bit empty on Monday and Tuesday with no NBA and no cricket, and we're like,
Yeah.
I actually ended up putting a Champions League side in this morning because there was not much to do last night, and did a bit of research and didn't go too well. But anyway, that's what happens when you don't actually watch the bloody thing. So now I've actually, I won't say personally, I got on the chat to Draft Stars a couple of days ago to see if they're going to be doing any work for this upcoming one-day series. So look, keep an eye on this space. Look, there's 2020s to start with, and then there's 5 one-dayers. If Draft Stars are watching, please have something for the World Cup. I know it's in England and it's going to be real late at night, but that's still, it's cricket and it's easy to play if easy to put a lineup in. So, look, I'm no Bruce, no power here, but just from a DFS guy, if the contests are out, then I'm all over it.
We were calling you Bruce on Sunday night, actually. Next Bruce McAvaney. Yeah. So, I agree. They sort of built up a bit of momentum with the cricket and got some people interested and used to playing fantasy cricket. And I assume that can only grow over the next couple of years. And let's hope it does. So, World Cup would be great.
Cool. All right. Let's move on to a new exciting feature that DFR's introduced for the resources for AFLW. We're currently into the 4th round of this season where it's been a little bit controversial in the news where the conference system is not quite going to plan. But from a DFS perspective, we've had some really good contests being put up and obviously some really good players come to the fore so far this year.
Yeah, so they've got the contests have held up reasonably well so far. I see we've got $5,000 contests on Saturday and Sunday, and when you consider it was only sort of 10,000 for the final of the Big Bash, I think that's holding up reasonably well. And like you say, we've got our resources page up and going, which I think one of the major hurdles to playing AFLW DFS is just the lack of information. So we had some great feedback at the live final from people who had been using the cheat sheets that we were presenting in the in the previews early in the season, and they've been using that to make some good results. Now we've got the full resources with points against and weekly recaps, and obviously the cheat sheets, which everyone's loving, and we've got Saturday and Sunday previews. So there's heaps of information there if you want to get stuck into AFLW. A number of the qualifiers said they have no idea what they were doing, and they read the previews and looked at the cheat sheets and put a couple of teams in and won some money. So there's definitely an opportunity there if you want to put some time into AFLW, or if you just want to put a couple of teams in and follow along. We've got you covered there too. So give that a look at our resources page.
Yeah, on same sentiment. Like, I was looking for a data or statistics in the past, and obviously just some players in terms of, okay, who's the studs and who's the mid ranges and who's going to be some value plays. And I think round one was really successful for me, cashing anything that I entered. And then and obviously the subsequent weeks, I didn't really get a chance to play much of it in the last couple of weeks. But if there was an opportunity to put a side in, it's just a quick look on DFR, look at who's got the good value and the points against salary, and then if there's anyone cheap or if any particular construction build was happening, then I'm all over it.
Yeah, we've got some really clever guys who've been obviously they've been running the NBA resources page all season, and we're getting great heaps of great feedback about NBA on much the same lines. People who don't know their NBA but want to put a couple of teams in and follow along at work, they've been using the cheat sheets, and there's obviously a lot of information out there about NBA, but ours is just a quick resource to sort of help that way. But if you want to get more into it, you can also drill down into the points against tables and the player out tables and all that sort of stuff. So, and then we had BBL and AFLW, and we've got AFL on the way. So we're really excited about what we can do with the AFL this season. And, we're hoping it's going to be the biggest AFL season yet, aren't we?
Oh, look, AFL is actually starting next Thursday with the JLT. Also, they've got the AFLX this weekend, which I'm sure there'll be no real DFX action there. But, next Thursday, Carlton play, I think at Icon Park. So you would assume that Draft Stars will be putting some contests up. Look, it's hard to say, but it would probably be likely that they'll do the NBA preseason format where you'll have 9 players to pick in the standard format, but every player will be the same salary at 10K, which means that you can construct any lineup that you want. They might even go to the chance where every player could be flex, but probably if you want to keep the traditional lineup structure in hand. I actually was pretty successful last pre-season, especially with those kind of salaries where you can pretty much pick any player that you want. Strategies there, I suppose you got to look at what the coaches are saying pre and post match. Time on the ground is obviously very important. You might pick a stud, but if he's only there for 60% of the time on the field, he's not going to score, considering you might get players who are there for 80 to 90% of the time on the ground. Have you actually played any JLT before?
So I didn't play at all last year. I sort of thought, how do you know who's fair dinkum? And then by the end of it, I saw Bruce 17 had a couple of results, and that was just a little precursor to this huge year of AFL. And I had a chat with him and realised that there probably is a massive edge in JLT if you're prepared to put in the research and, like you say, listen to what the coaches have to say and try and work out who's going to be playing a lot of time and who isn't, and building your teams that way. So this year I might have a little look at it, I think.
Yeah.
As long as you're not winning all the money, Matho.
No. I'll still chuck my $2 minis in and possibly maybe a $2 fan.
I'll have to dodge you and play the 15s.
Yeah, I won't be putting $10, $15 lineups in. Don't you worry about that. But I suppose, rule of thumb is you probably the teams that didn't go too well last year, they're going to be looking at their kids straight away, whereas your Richmonds and your West Coasters and things like that, they'll probably keep their stars wrapped up in cotton wool. Every year, Sydney don't care. I think I saw today that Lance Franken's not going to play at all. So, so it's really important, like an NBA and things like that, just to do your research on their club's websites, possibly follow some more Twitter feeds and things like that. But I find that preseason DFS is actually really good for your season-long fantasy as well. It just means you're watching potential, rookies or, cash cows in your super coaches and your AFL fantasies. And then for those who have keeper leagues, you're looking at redrafting rookies and players that didn't go too well last year that might have a different role change this year.
Yeah, and we're in a keeper league together, and I highly recommend you pay close attention, Matho, because you need to improve.
Oh well, I've got pick one wrapped up enough that I've got no idea so far, so I might have to watch some footy in the next couple of weeks. I know when it comes to draft night, I don't look like a fool.
Good idea. Again.
All right. Before we wrap things up here, is there anything from a DFS perspective you look out in the next couple of weeks?
Well, we've still got the golf every week. You've come on board writing some golf stuff for us, and DraftKings, they're putting up $500,000 every week. So if you like your golf, or you just want to have a crack at $500,000 for a $5 entry, get over to DraftKings. Obviously, the AFLW, NBA will be back this weekend. We're going to have a preview for the Saturday slate. It's Australian time. Jesse Penfold will be back on deck. He's just got home from the biggest bash, so he's going to be back on Saturday. And, all looking forward to AFL as far as I'm concerned. But obviously NRL will be on the way soon too. Matho, you're a bit of an NRL man.
Yeah, I managed to catch up with my the DFS community at Melbourne who love their NRL, which includes Kiwi and Oz and Nova. I'll look, shout out to Nova. When I was trying to chat to him straight after the game, he wasn't in the best headspace.
He wasn't in the mood, was he?
Oh, he wasn't in the best headspace. And I'm saying, mate, NRL, how exciting. And it was, I don't think he looked at me at all. So,
for anyone that doesn't know, Nova came fourth, didn't he? So,
yeah.
He was third right near the end, was he, Matho?
He was right near he was in the cash. And then, it was hard to actually look at the leaderboard because we're watching the actual cricket. It was just too much things going on. It was wickets, and then when it came to the last over, like, okay, this is over. Who's actually winning? And so didn't really get to see the bouncing around of the avatars on the leaderboard. But yeah, as I said, NRL, I've got me Warriors up on tonight. So that's the middle of March. So again, that's before the AFL season starts. So I'm happy to help out some newbies who need some suggestions. So hit me up on my Twitter feed at Schmaffo10. If there's any AFL related questions, hit up Hef at TM Heffernan as well. Or if not, get on the at Rankings DFS Twitter feed and send us a line. And if not, send us a like on our YouTube page and subscribe to that. If there's any feedback about our shows, any content you want to listen to or want to hear about, drop us a line. We're happy to take any feedback, whether it's good or pretty bad.
Yeah, we can cop it. Give it to us.
Yeah, we're lonely Tasmanians that don't have much to do down here. So, all right, we'll wrap things up here. Hef, is there anything final thoughts before we leave?
No, that's it from me.
All right,
thanks, Matho.
Thanks very much, and we'll catch you on the next DFS Down Under show. Take it easy.
Look forward to it. See you, mate. Bye.
See you, mate.